Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to decode some habits that might mean you're more than just an introvert. You might actually be a genius. We're going to look at why certain behaviors, the ones people sometimes call a bit strange, are actually hallmarks of a highly advanced intellect. And yeah, this is all backed by psychology.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll bust the big myth about introverts. Then we'll walk through 5 key habits, from protecting your social battery and finding power in being alone to how you organize what matters. And we'll wrap it all up by exploring what it really means to have a deeper kind of mind.
Okay, let's kick things off with the big one. People so often mistake being an introvert for being shy or distant, or, well, just plain weird. But what if those very traits society kind of labels as off are really just signs of a highly advanced intellect humming away behind the scenes?
I want you to think about this for a second. Really think. Have you ever felt that sudden wave of pure joy and relief when a friend texts to cancel plans? If you have, trust me, you are not alone. And it is definitely not because you're antisocial or a bad friend. Nope. It's a clue to something much, much deeper going on inside your brain.
And this right here? This slide pretty much sums up the whole idea of this explainer. Where society might slap a label on you like antisocial, psychology comes in and reframes it as a sign of a high IQ mind, just operating really efficiently. It's not a bug, it's a feature.
All right, let's get into our first set of habits. And these are all about protecting your most valuable resource, your mental energy. See, this isn't about avoiding people. It's about being incredibly strategic with your cognitive horsepower. Which brings us right to habit number 1, that feeling of relief when plans just disappear. That's your brain's way of fiercely protecting its cognitive resources. It's saving all that good stuff for deeper thinking instead of burning it on social events.
And psychology actually has a term for this. It's called social energy conservation, and it's a total hallmark of minds that process social dynamics on a way deeper level. You're not just in a conversation, your brain is working overtime. Knowing this, you can start being more intentional, right? Like schedule some actual downtime after social stuff to let your mind recover.
So this slide breaks down the why of it all. During any social event, your brain is doing this intense background work. It's analyzing these tiny split-second facial expressions, vocal tones, all these other cues. So when plans get canceled, you're not dodging your friends. You're reclaiming that energy to just recharge. And this leads us right into our second habit. You actively avoid small talk. I mean, if talking about the weather feels like it's literally draining the life out of you, it's because your brain is craving depth, it's craving new ideas, and that surface-level chatter just doesn't deliver the goods.
You might be the quiet one in a group, but the second a really complex or fascinating topic comes up, boom, you light up. You're not quiet because you're awkward. You're just quiet until something worthy of your mental energy finally shows up. And this idea builds perfectly into our next set of habits, which are all about finding sheer brilliance in solitude. This is where your brain gets to do its best work, free from all that outside noise. Okay, now this one might feel a little strange, but it is incredibly powerful. If you ever catch yourself muttering your thoughts out loud when you're working through a tough problem, you're actually using a highly effective cognitive tool. To an outsider, yeah, it might look a little odd, but it's really just your brain operating at peak efficiency. Psychology calls this verbal reasoning. It's basically the process of taking your internal monologue and putting it out into the world to get it organized. By turning thoughts into spoken words, you're just cutting through all the mental clutter and finding solutions way faster. And it's a beautifully simple 3-step process. You start with this jumble of unstructured thoughts, right? Then you externalize them by speaking them out loud, and in that process, you turn that mental chaos into a clear, organized solution. And here's our next habit that really harnesses the power of solitude. If you just love taking long walks all by yourself, you're not hiding from the world. You're actively creating the perfect environment for your mind to innovate and to solve problems. Because when you walk alone, you're actually activating your brain's creative and problem-solving networks. It lets you get into this deeper state of thinking, giving your mind the quiet space it desperately needs to connect complex ideas without the constant distraction of other people's input. It is no coincidence that thinkers from Aristotle all the way to Steve Jobs made walking a core part of their creative process. Now, let's look at a habit that might seem totally unrelated, but it's also all about focus. It might just look like you're messy, but in reality, it's a sign of intense focus on what's truly important. Think about it for a sec. Is your desk a total disaster zone, but your digital file system is a thing of beauty? Or maybe your bedroom is pure chaos, but your project workflow is absolutely flawless. If so, you're exhibiting a classic high IQ trait. This is called selective organization. See, high IQ minds don't waste energy organizing everything equally. Instead, you naturally pour your limited organizational energy only into the systems and the areas that really, truly matter for your goals.
So what just looks like a contradiction to everybody else is actually your brain operating with pure, unfiltered mental efficiency. You're just not wasting time on things that don't move the needle.
So we've seen how you manage your energy, how you find clarity in solitude, and how you focus your organizational power where it actually counts. So when you put all these pieces together, what's the big picture? What does it all really mean?
If these 5 habits feel deeply familiar, if you've been nodding along this whole time, it's not because you're strange or antisocial. It's because your brain is very likely just wired to work in deeper, more complex ways than most of the people around you. Let that just sink in for a moment. Psychology shows that these behaviors are not flaws that you need to fix. They are powerful strengths that just need to be understood and embraced for exactly what they are, the signs of an introverted genius mind.
And that leaves us with a final thought to mull over. If these common quirks are actually signs of a brilliant mind, what else about you that maybe society labels as a flaw could actually be the source of your greatest strengths?